Me too.
It's full time at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. The 36ers winning 82-71. A big deficit at quarter time, but from there they got the game back on their terms and had a pretty comfortable victory in the end.
Well, it was. There was some heartache along the way. Keanu Pinder there with a nice throwdown, but their start, they looked really poor. They've done this a few times, the Adelaide 36, and it's hard to play catch-up. Yeah, you can do it against a Cairns Taipans team that's going through some tough times, but the Adelaide 36ers would be happy with the win, but the realisation that they need to pick it up. But for the Cairns Taipans, 22, had to check that twice because I wasn't even sure. 22 turnovers. That's not going to get it done, and that really gives your opponents a head start. DJ was good. McCarron, I thought, was excellent today, one of his better games. Zimmerman, he's possibly his best game with his 21. And look at the three-point shooting percentages of both these teams. Was not very good. Early on, the Taipans had a massive rebound lead. Adelaide took care of that and got it back on their terms. But 22-11 was the turnover count.
Let's just have a quick look at the Amy Ladder-Copes and what that does for the Adelaide 36ers. They've still got some work to do, 5-7, but they need to try and get on a run. And they've got the opportunity to do so in the next few weeks. Coming up next, Melbourne take on the New Zealand Breakers at John Cain Arena. Don't go too far. More action coming up on Sunday Hoops.
I'm top tier, I'm that guy. I'm the man of the year. I'm a man with no fear. I think like I'm a shark. The way I move so sharp. I go hard for the team. That's how I play my...
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade. This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Trade.
Joe Luala-Chules had such a great opportunity presented to him this year. Illy threw it up. JLO was there to do the rest.
Joe Luala-Chule, a little bit of salt into the wound.
Luala-Chule gets past Chi and gets upstairs. Back out for Luala-Chule. He's been shooting that three ball so well this season.
And then on your screen, he is very good.
How real is the MVP conversation now?
Absolutely.
Very, very real.
JLA makes him pay. He's got a 30-piece for the night.
Hello and welcome to the Joe Show. The next big thing in Australian basketball has been bringing kids to his show, been bringing NBA scouts to his show, and great to have you with us at John Cain Arena for the next episode as the top team in the competition, Melbourne United, host the New Zealand Breakers. Tip-off not far away as I welcome the greatest of all time, Andrew Gaze, and Melbourne United Championship winner Peter Hooley. Welcome, guys.
Thank you, Dwayno. You're right, Joe Luala-Chule. As we take a look at the starting lineup, Joe Luala-Chule has been the standout. Check this out. In these last 4 games, he's averaging 25 points, 14 rebounds, almost 4 blocks per game, shooting it at 71% and 5 of 11 from the three-point line. Wayne, to use one of your terms, wowee! That is extraordinary stuff by the big man. And there against the Phoenix, 11 of 13, 30 points, 9 rebounds, and he's just getting it done. The way in which he can get up and down the floor, the pace at which he can get there to the rim, to put heat on the rim. He's in the right place at the right time, blocking shots, and in the last 4 games, sticking the 3-ball.
Well, Gazy's playing right now like nobody can stop him, and he might have that case. He's just been unreal. Was on fire from the first quarter in this game, in the throwdown, then went a bit quiet, and when the game was there to be taken over, he stood up and did it.
So a big afternoon coming for Yanni Wetzel in opposition as we look at the DoorDash starting 5. Get $10 off your next 3 orders with Dash Pass. Use the code DashPass at checkout. There's the New Zealand starting 5.
Well, it's a strong starting 5. Yanni Wetzel, he's been enormous this season for the New Zealand Breakers. We talk about Luala Chul being the most improved player, leading that potentially right now. Yanni Wetzel, not that far behind. He's been outstanding himself, and this is going to be a battle to watch.
Well, he's similar numbers, Dwayne. Over the last 3 games, he's at 20 points and 9.5 rebounds. So these two are going to have a big determining factor on the outcome.
Big crowd, John Cain Arena in Melbourne. Lots of families in the house, lots of kids are in the house. Used to be the CG43 show, but now with Matthew Dellavedova and Joe Luala Chul. And here is Delhi. Doesn't want to waste the early one. So here is that Wetzel, Joe Luala Chul battle. Going to have to put the shot up from the corner. Perfect start right there for the man who's been in pretty good form. Up and down, Caleb Agata.
Very up and down, Caleb Agata. That'll feel good, but you talk about it used to be the CG43 show for Melbourne United. That play they run at the start, it's misdirection, him coming off some screens, but trying to throw the ball into Luala Chul. Good finish there from Basson, and straight away, Finn Delaney going to double Joe Luala Chul down the other end. They're not going to let him get any confidence early.
Game 150 for Finn Delaney. And this guy's been sensational as well, Jack White. He's coming back from injury.
I keep saying it, but Melbourne United in that first 8 seconds of the offense, of the possession, they are the toughest to guard. They really put a lot of heat. All their players can get to the rim, and White, that time, was an easy 2.
Delaney works his way to the bucket. White with the rebound. Agata likes his chances. Besson was right with him. And fouled him.
Well, that's exactly what Andrew Gaze is talking about. Straight away, putting the heat on the rim. Even when the ball just walks up the floor, if your defense isn't set, it's in certain guys' hands like Chris Golding. Joe Luala Chul's got the ball. They're going to be ultra aggressive. So New Zealand Breakers have to be aware of that in the half court.
The Breakers, as the season rolls on, they had some real difficult times with their personnel. And with COVID, and much documented, been on the road for ever and a day, really 2 years now. But they are becoming a dangerous proposition. Once they get settled, these guys start to feel a little bit more comfortable with their roles. It seems strange saying that halfway through the season, but it's been so disruptive for them.
Wetzel with the hook and the foul to go with it.
Well, the way he does that, because Joe Luala Chul, we've seen him send those shots all season. Shot that from behind his head. And he's the full round hook shot here.
This is the closest you'll get to the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that I've seen in a long time. A lot of people throw up the hook, but the sky hook, that was almost carbon copy of the great man.
And we have spoken about Joe Luala Chul being in the MVP conversation, most improved player, leading candidate, but Yanni Wetzel averaged 11 points last year. He's averaging 18 points this year. Just a couple more rebounds, 7.5 rebounds a game. He's actually 1.5 steals, and a lot of that comes from the way he hedges hard on ball screens. He's got really good hands for a big, has some swipes at it.
Nice spin move from Chris Golding, and the finger roll in to go with that. Turned him inside out, as he loves to do. Peyton Seaver for the Breakers. Put it back, Randall, and White the rebound. Little hold called on Yanni Wetzel.
Gee, I think he's a little unlucky then. I thought it was just going to be a foot violation, but They called a foul on Yanni Wetzel.
They're not the fouls they want, because Yanni Wetzel's going to be that main matchup for Luala Chul. Fouls away from the ball. And if you're Melbourne United, you are trying to throw it in there. See as many as you can pick up on Wetzel early.
Agata. So Luala Chul lets it fly. We'll get a little better than that as the game progresses.
Well, he hit a couple early against the Phoenix, and they were the types of shots that he was taking more regularly last season.
Oh, the hook this time from Finn Delaney. They're all doing it.
That's not quite Kareem Abdul-Basketball. That's not the legitimate sky hook, but that's good move by Delaney, and he's had a tough run of it this season.
Well, he has. We'll talk about how good he was in the last 2 years. He's just gone from year to year, strength to strength, and been a little bit inconsistent. I think he's someone they have to really focus on to try and get back into some form, because New Zealand Breakers gone win, loss, win, loss, win. Now they're a bit more settled. They've had so many disruptions off the floor. They've been out of their control, but Jason Randall, he's been elevated with Jeremiah Martin's departure. Peyton Seaver being healthy, he's going to help. That's too easy. Good take from Jason.
He took it coast to coast, tied it up at 9 apiece. Dellavedova gets the screen, ran into Wetzel, back out to White. Delhi gives it some thought and keeps thinking. Chris Golding time. And Agata can't hunt it down. New Zealand get the stop.
Letting it fly from the three-point line. 6 field goal attempts, Melbourne United. 4 of them have already come from the three. And New Zealand haven't been great at defending the three. In fact, they allow a league worst 37% from the three-point line.
Besson started well.
Oh, he's a confidence-type player as well. So good start from Besson. And for the Breakers, they've lost 9 games in a row on this floor. John Cain Arena, 6 of those have been against Melbourne United. Last win was during the NBL Cup against the Taipans. Can they turn some form around?
Luala Chul with the mismatch on Seaver.
It's going to be on. You've seen early on, strategic, unless they change it up, they're switching everything. They're switching 1 through 5 by the look, the Melbourne United. And time there. Melbourne United weren't able to take advantage of it.
My goodness. Circus shot was beautiful.
Just fell asleep on the defensive end because I thought that pass was going to get through. Nearly threads the needle.
The lob fake and the spin was delightful from Finn Delaney. So they're all having some fun out there so far.
This is the Finn Delaney we want to see. Putting his head down. Yes, he can shoot the 3 ball, but he's been struggling this year. Really test out Jack White, who's a phenomenal defender down that end. And there you go, Drewy. He missed one. He was way off on that first 3 ball. Didn't take long to have another crack at it.
Gets it back, Randall, or chased it in an attempt to get back, but put on his backside. Good start. Boys have talked about New Zealand being away from home all season, being tough. Yeah, their coach and a lot of their players aren't from New Zealand, but not playing in front of a home fan base, not being able to have your own house to come and go from.
Well, that's 2 fouls on Joe Luala Chul, so that's going to really help. And there's Hook 40.
Golding straight back down the other end, finds the net.
And Daisy, that's a bad shot for about 97% of the league. So for Chris Golding, there's no such thing. Tees it up in transition.
Seaver from way outside. Melbourne United ball.
I tell you what, though, Hook Porty, when he first came into this team, he has been one of the biggest improvers from the start of the season to where we're at now. And that's for him becoming more comfortable with the role and the league, of course, for a young man. But
Here's the next star, and Mason Peterling getting some court time.
And that's just too easy against this Melbourne United team. Just a simple little on-ball pick and roll. But Hook Porty, when you get to watch him, watch the speed at which he goes from that last block shot. And yes, it was the Chris Golding 3, but he blocked it, and it was a blistering offensive transition. He was at the other end, ready to contest the boards. Full-on jets. Now, he gets no reward for that. There's no stats, but it does speak to the way in which that he's evolving and in those areas when he hasn't got the ball and how he's learning the game and what those things mean to his team.
Randall danced it in.
Danced too much. This is going to be a little walkie travel there. And Gazy, more to your point, speaking to a couple of draft experts, they've been talking to some NBA scouts and teams, and they are so high on Hook Porty's development just in the first half of the season. Being in the right situation, always going to help these young next stars with his bodies. We know where his body's at, and he's just slowly
I know myself.
Solid.
I've had probably 4 or 5 of the NBA teams reach out to get, not that my opinion would really mean
absolutely.
I'm honoured that they would call, but they certainly asking a lot of questions about him, that's for sure.
Here as a next star in Australia. Great to have 2-time championship winner and Opal star Maddie Garrick courtside with us this afternoon. Welcome to you, Maddie.
Welcome to me. Thank you so much. Now, just quickly, I spoke to Dean Vickerman before the game, and he was talking about the importance of good starts, particularly after their win against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix on Thursday. And we can see now with the Melbourne United, we've got Agata. His aggression at the ring in previous games has allowed him to be able to shoot that open shot, and he's already up to 5 points. And we can see that same thing happening with Chris Goulding, getting on the ring early, and now he's opening up his 3-point ball game. So let's see how the rest of this quarter turns out.
Firstly, great to have Matty Garrick on board.
Is this a debut performance?
It is.
Well, that is an outstanding start by the rookie.
Some championships.
Knows her basketball.
Without championships do not apply. Peter Hurley,
That's
Andrew
it.
Gaze, Matty Garrick.
Good spin down low.
I feel like an outlier in that company, Dwayne. But she's right. And you talk about the confidence that they're trying to play with. You know, Chris Goulding could be 0 of 10 in the next one. Everyone thinks it's going to go in. But Joe Lawala-Chul, when he started that game against the Phoenix, then he went quiet. Phoenix did a good job of just gloving him, making him take a couple of bad decisions. Dean Vickerman subbed him out of the game, and came out of halftime was really confident. But that man right there, you know, he needs the confidence to continue to put up some good numbers, Caleb Agata.
Well, he can knock down the 3 ball, and we've seen it at certain games, that is Caleb Agata, but only at 26%. And if you're trying to hedge your bets on him, what is going to be his strength? I think you got to just half show, contest on those when he's out the 3-point line, but take away that penetration to the basket. The 3 ball right now is the lesser of 2 evils.
Hassan let it fly, off balance. Here is Caleb Agata. Feeds it in. And here's the man that Andrew Gaze was wrapping up. And the step back fadeaway. Ariel Hook Porty turning it on. Gaze, he already told you he's quick. You can flick the switch and get in bed before the light goes out. We can shoot it too.
Wow, that's quick. But I reckon that what we saw against the Phoenix, and that was another example of them, that little shot just outside the keyway and around there, and that time a little step back, that's what he's just the confidence now dropping it in.
Everything is a shot. That means you have to shoot. It's a good shot, but you have to have the time and circumstances again. Everybody's coming off the screen to take a shot. So it's not your turn, your turn, your turn. Everybody's coming off the screen to shoot. You can do it here and there, but we talked about it. Now they have a little bit of a run. It's not that we did a lot of bullshit over there, but we're just jacking shots. Okay, so let's go off the press break now. And let's go over here, horns down. Okay, you said it. You said it. You go all the way to the second side, and you're getting good over here. Help him with the screens over here if it's not a quick break. Help him with the screen, and then the last one is horns down, pop, get over here and go to the second side. A good screen and put it in the post.
Great to see a packed house again at John Cain Arena in Melbourne. Danny McNogue is back. Why wouldn't you be back? Came for the Joe Show a couple of nights ago and back for the second or third instalment of what's been a great run of form.
Loves it. A lot of the celebrities now, the Melbourne United have done a good job of building up their fan base with the A-listers.
Engineering that time out, he was right. That possession before, the Basson missed 3 ball. They had about 4 screens all around the 3-point line. Nobody really tested the waters getting downhill, and every single player looked as though they were going to just turn and shoot. Just wants to get the offense through the hands a bit more. Just go one pass, one shot.
Wetzel time. Turned baseline and rejected. And he just picked his pocket. Ariel Hook-Porte. Brilliant stuff. Straight back down the other end. Didn't spot it out of play. Kept the possession. And from the corner, Brad Newley.
Got there too late. Agata missed him early on. He's wide open and eventually went back to him. But Dan Shamir talking about the offense. And yes, the offense has some issues because defensively, the Breakers' defense is ranked 10th in the half court and 8th in transition. And we've seen what already in this one here with their 23 points. They're getting it both ways in the half court. They're getting good looks and transition in particular, lighting it up. So, yes, he's concerned about the offense, but sometimes your offense creates those opportunities and puts so much pressure on your defensive teams.
You see Will McDowell right there, checking his game. It was a game time decision, so he got the all clear.
And here's his fitness test. Sent back. Besson. Shot clock down to 4. Step back, long range 2. All air.
Well, it's not a nice fitness test to have Shea Illy up in your grill, full court, being the menace that he is on the defensive end.
Agata. Rebound pulled down by Delaney. Big 2 minutes coming up. New Zealand were good early. Melbourne skipped away a little. Need to finish strong, not let this margin blow to double figures. Wetzel takes on Hook-Porte, is right with him, wearing him. Didn't wear him well enough.
Running hook, but Wetzel got a nice touch on that. The ball between his legs. Taking Hook-Porte off the dribble.
Hook-Porte tried to take him on, lost it, although Breakers claim it's there. Ball, but don't get it.
Hook-Porte, I think, is called for a sub. I think there was a little clash of knees there, and he's come up limping.
Steve, just make sure they go through the table, okay? Thank you.
Dave Barlow seeing some action.
Hands you guys.
Catch and shoot on the buzzer. Delightful. 3-pointer from Caleb Agata to add to the New Zealand woe.
That's the second one for Agata. Started the game with a nice one in the corner. And yeah, Dave Barlow, Mason Peatley on the floor together. Rarely see that, if at all. Joe Luala-Chul 2 fouls for Porty with that.
Oh, best on behind the back. Through the foul. Speaking of young next stars like Ariel Hook-Porte here in Australia, on his way probably to the NBA, this guy, Hugo Besson, youngest import in Breaker history, and he's been turning it on all season.
Well, he would have been signed as a next star originally. That was the plan, as they saw Hugo Besson and said, yeah, we're going to get him as part of the Next Stars program. And then Usman Jeng popped up, and then they decided to use the Next Star label, as you will, on Jeng. And then they thought, well, we still want Besson, so they signed him as that import.
The Wolf, as he calls himself, the Wolf.
The Wolf.
Hugo Besson. Big tattoo of a wolf on his thigh.
Oh, okay.
He's also got a power button on his thigh that he can press to get himself going. I like it.
Gazy's got a wolf on his calf.
No, I haven't gone down the tattoo path yet, but Dave Barlow, he had a DNP the other night. Now, I don't know whether it was related to an injury, but if not, I can't imagine Dave Barlow, maybe get a stat man onto him, because I don't recall, it was a long time since Dave Barlow would have had a DNP coach's decision.
Little teardrop from Peatling was nice. Yeah, he started a few games ago as well.
Well, now that Jack White's back, you've got Jack White, who played the majority of minutes in that 4 spot in that matchup against Mitch Creed for the Phoenix. Then Vickman just trying to throw out what could work well. Jack White's been outstanding.
Illy hands it over. Here we go. Dave Barlow got a chance. Illy hands it back out. And Illy says no. Caleb Agata can set it up. Take a few seconds to work it all out. Peatling. Agata. Part of the seas. Floated it in.
Very strong start for Caleb Agata. He's the one, no one talks about Joe Luala-Chul, Chris Golding. You just need that third consistent scorer. Look around the league, there's some teams, we saw one last night, a couple of teams last night, but Sydney Kings, with the addition of Ian Clark, they've got scorers everywhere. So he's been just a bit up and down. If they can find that consistent level of scoring from Caleb Agata, which doesn't have to be 20, 25, but just a solid 10 to 15 points you can rely on every night.
Little shot clock, game clock differential, so United might get it back. New Zealand to use it now. Randall milks it down. He's going to have to put it up shortly. Got in there just in time and got some luck with it. So dying seconds, Agata. It's already landed 2 bombs, but they have started in style, the home team. John Cain Arena in Melbourne. Great to have your company. A Sunday fun day triple header. Melbourne United by 10 at quarter time. Great start for the home team, Melbourne United. 30-20. Just had New Zealand Breakers on the ropes for the last few minutes of that opening quarter, but they've got some stars, the Breakers. Great to have the Kmart Fam Cam back this season, and tonight's winner of the $50 Kmart gift card, Michael White. Plays basketball, constantly loves going to the United games, and why wouldn't you love going to the United games? What a list of stars they've got to watch. Chris Golding, Joe Luala-Chul. Had to have Matthew Dellavedova playing in this NBL season. 447 NBA games worth of experience. Back in his old home state. Here's Chris Golding feeding it to Joe Luala-Chul. Lost it. Yanni picked his pocket.
There's that scramble defense you were talking about, Drewy. And Hayden Seaver did all the hard work and threw it straight to Brad Newley. Delhi didn't take a shot in the first quarter, but had 5 assists. So he's getting everybody involved. And right on cue, takes his first shot.
Well, speaking of Barlow, we asked a question about the DMPs. Statman's got back to us. Barlow had 1 DMP coach's decision last season, but this season he's played the last 8 games without scoring. You know what else is so impressive? In that first quarter, Melbourne United didn't have any turnovers.
You hadn't established, I believe you're still out of bounds. Thank you.
Matty Garrick was listening in to Dean Vickerman.
Dean just actually addressed the team on that last defensive play, the last play of the first quarter. And anything under 8 seconds, he said to switch, which they didn't get done. But then he turned it quickly to the offensive end. They really want to push the ball and test out the defense in the middle. You see that New Zealand are hard showing, and they really want to attack that, especially with Wetzel jumping out really high.
Yeah, nice explain, Matty. Long bomb attempt. And Newley tried to flick it onto McDowell. White did get away with it.
And that's what I was talking about with Yanni Wetzel. That's why he's averaging 1.5 steals. Oh, great athletes. Chris Judd enjoying himself, and I'm not. It's not a water. He's in great shape.
Do we count him as a West Coast legend and a Carlton player, or a how do you classify him, Dwayne?
Just a superstar. He is.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Big Snoop Dogg fan too, I'm told.
Oh, okay.
Huge Snoop Dogg fan.
Would have enjoyed the Super Bowl, but there's Joe Luala-Chul for the bucket. And back to Yanni Wetzel. So they're trying to exploit that because he shows so hard. He's got great hands. There's certain things that you can do to really try and expose the breakers on that end. He has had a lot of success with the way that he guards ball screens. I think he's one of the best at it in the league. Everyone has their different coverages.
Rattles down. Yeah, good crowd in the house. Middle game of our Sunday triple. Illawarra and Tasmania later on to come.
Somehow or other, New Zealand have got to figure out the problem on the defensive end. Whether it's the hard show, whatever you're doing, it ain't working right now. 33 points at 55% for Melbourne United. And the pace at which they play really does put a lot of pressure on their opponents.
Besson, and put his foot on the line, just dropped his heel on it.
Looked like it could have been a travel as well. Pick whichever turnover you want, still going to count. So don't get a shot up now. They've really got to lock in on the defensive end here. See what Gazy was talking about with their coverages.
Dellavedova clocking up the miles. Joe Luala-Chul doubled. And Barlow. And the crowd up and about loving it.
First bucket field goal in the last 8 games, and that'll make him feel a little bit better about himself, and it's an easy one too. There you see that Wetzel digging down and a long closeout. You can't expect Wetzel to go down and help on the double team in the low post and then expect him to chase out. There's either got to be a rotation or at the very least a stunt. And I know he hasn't scored in 8 games, but you can't leave Dave Barlow that wide open.
Sneak in and have a listen to, man, who's won a championship with New Zealand and United. Have obviously been a great United coach for a few years now. Let's head into Dean Vickerman.
We got the flash, touch pass, over the top, fantastic. All right, you guys keep fighting for your spot and then turn quickly and seal. All right, but if we can get at you on the mismatch straight away, we're going and moving off it. You want the same thing? Yeah. Eagles one with a back screen. Got it. So here, he's going to be a little bit higher, and we'll see that one. Caleb, see the back screen and then the pop out. You bring it down. Yeah, you got it. Kelly's got the pass. Let's go, let's go. Cool, man.
Waleed Ali in the house as well. We're going to have enough timeouts to actually get all the celebs some airtime.
This is like Madison Square Garden. All the Australian superstars coming out.
Where else in the world would you rather be on a Sunday afternoon than watching the top team in the NBL, Melbourne United, strut their stuff at home? They lead 36-20. Wetzel. Little hesitation initially. I think even Peyton Seaver confused himself. Agata.
Everything's so pressured. You start second-guessing yourself, and I think that's what happened there with Seaver. Nothing easy. And in contrast, down the other end, Melbourne United just picking them off.
Well, they tried to shoot the gap, Peyton Seaver, and that was what it was there for. We talked about the possession before the timeout. They didn't rotate. There, Peyton Seaver was there on the catch, but tried to get the steal. And in those situations, you've almost got to be 100% certain you're at least going to get a part of the ball. Missed it completely, and in the end, open look for Dave Barlow underneath.
Well, he's outsized, and whenever that's the case, the default position is you must front, and he was trying to get in front, but just couldn't get there in time. And easy couple, you would think, for Dave Barlow. Been around a long time, but geez, still doing a lot of work with the biceps. Wow, that's just a powerful unit.
That's about all the weight room is for Dave Barlow in the last 3 years.
It's a bit like
A lot of stretching, a couple curls.
couple. There's more than a couple in those pipes.
Hayden Seaver brings it down the floor. Corin Galloway on the floor. Besson hands it up. Seaver, single figure shot clock. Dellavedova wearing him like a glove. Backs it back out. 3 left. 2. Behind the back. In some trouble. Shot clock expires. Brilliant.
That right there, that defensive set. Now, it wasn't a lot of movement, but there was enough in there that Dean Vickham and his team put that together and say, this is how it's supposed to look, fellas. This is where we got ball pressure, can't distribute it, ends up in another turnover, and just everyone's hands, you're in the help position, you got an elite defender, no middle, takes away the middle, and whoop, squirts it out, turnover.
That's the impact of Matthew Dellavedova on the defensive end. We know Joe Luala-Chul last week said Shea Ili, he believes he's Defensive Player of the Year. I think Big Joe also thinks he should be in that category, just under 3 blocks a game. You've got Shea Ili, you've got Jack White as well.
2 seconds left on the shot clock. Put it up, and here we go with the Joe Show.
It's a nice show. What we've seen lately, incredible numbers.
Seaver goes off the glass himself. Gonna have to score. He knows that. Went a little earlier in the shot clock this time. Dellavedova.
It was really the first time they turned the corner to attack the hoop. Hayden Seaver, that's what Dan Schmidt spoke about in the timeout in the first quarter.
This is a really tough shot against a defender, but that's where size and a little Dirk Nowitzki look about that one. Just a nice little step back off the 1 foot.
We've gone Abdul-Jabbar, Dirk Nowitzki.
No, we've still got...
There's still a lot of game left.
Exactly. Well, Cyril Larry's said when those superstars patent those moves, you might as well refer to them and just show how we learn from those that have come before us.
Chris Golding. Jack White. Matthew Dellavedova. White. Luala-Chul. And tap back in. He didn't leave it to the gods, Jack White. He made sure of it himself.
That's the instinct there. If you've got someone fronting the way they've been switching, so you've got a smaller body on Joe Luala-Chul. Peyton Seaver tries to throw the pocket pass, but that's a Yorker. That's straight at the feet. The instinct of Jack White, knowing he's got to flash high, throw it up. Wasn't a great pass in the end, but Joe Luala-Chul just snatched it.
Well, Peyton Seaver's so small, you've got plenty of margin for error, so you're right. It wasn't a great pass. The extra help came a little late, and they were able to pay the price, and not a lot went wrong there that time. I think it was Galloway that was coming over to help out, just that half a second late, and you paid the ultimate price.
Delaney gave it a long thought. Sam Timmins out there. Peyton Seaver takes it inside. Long range 2. White, the rebound. Shea Ili to the corner. Crowd went up with Chris Golding's shot.
That's a layup for him. That wide open. I reckon he almost had a little bit too much time and just slowed down the pace of his shot and threw it a little long.
Yeah, he's better when the scores are level too.
Well, just a hint of some pressure, and the time there guided it rather than just shooting it. And the tempo of his shot was I thought just a little slow.
They did dodge a bullet because, yes, Caleb Agata's knocked 2 down already. But if you have to pick your poison on that 3, you're probably going to stunt and get back to Golding in the corner. Doesn't matter, they got the stop. Can they capitalise?
Nothing easy for the New Zealand Breakers. And you know what? It's also showing how relentless Melbourne United are with their pursuit on the defensive end. They're 20 points up. They're playing like the scores are level, which every coach tries to tell you to do. Play each possession on its own merits. And they're actually doing it and executing it hard psychological. And Zach Triplett is coming in to see some action. So they're throwing in the DP. Played his junior basketball at Keilor. One of Josh Giddey's closest friends.
Had a
Still
good,
spend a lot of time on the
good skills competition today, Josh Giddey. Just lost to Team Cavs in the end. You talk about the relentlessness from Melbourne United. I wonder if it comes down to for a long part, on the 8-game win streak, they were the hardest team to score against in the league. They actually lost that title for the time being to the Jack Jumpers. The Jack Jumpers are the hardest team to score on. Melbourne United trying to reclaim that throne. Good pass there from Finn Delaney. Good 40.
Making it tough every time. It's a long road back, but at least they've begun the climb. The Breakers, Illy. Step back 3. Bam!
When he first came into the league, that was his Achilles a little bit. He was never really reliable. Teams to go underneath him. And even now, you probably think about that. But he is making enough of them to really make the defense think. And just showing a confidence now from the three-point line. Elite defender. What a pickup he's been.
Well, his first year at Melbourne United.
How did he ever
struggled.
How did New Zealand ever let Shea Ely go?
Well, we spoke about New Zealand struggling on this floor. The last time the Breakers won here, John Cain Arena against Melbourne United, was the opening game of the 18-19 season. The starting 5 in that game for the Breakers was Shea Ely, Corey Webster, Tom Abercrombie, Sean Long and Ty Wesley. So a few guys who have been around the league.
Nice squad. Very nice.
That was a very tough squad for the Breakers.
And they've lost their last 6 games here against Melbourne United. Illy throws it back out. Jack White. Everybody joining the party.
7 of 16. 16 three-point field goal attempts of their 29. And they're shooting it at 43.8%.
Nice Euro and the basket for Peyton Sievert.
Well, it's been tough to come by, but you see when they do set a screen and put some intent on getting there, getting downhill, and good things can try to open up. And here they're in a 2-3 zone, throwing something different out there because Melbourne United have picked them apart. It's a 40. Has to hit the jumper. So that foul's going to be on Tristan Randall. Late call. But man-to-man hasn't been working. They've been trying to switch everything, and Melbourne United have just exploited that. So here's a 2-3 zone. Just throw something else.
It is, and as Dan Shamir was talking about, I think some of their problem, not all of them, but because their defense, their formula has not worked, but some of their problems, I think, has also been caused by their offense.
Billy banks it in.
There's no other way to describe that as other than poor. That's poor defense. No ball pressure. The rotations come way too late. And the easiest of two.
Rotations is the big one because you kind of see they're doing their work and then, hey, Sievert. No good, but once their player passes the ball, it's kind of, they stand up and think, okay, my job's done. I've done my initial containment. Everyone's got to be down in the stance, moving, helping each other. Gee. Jack White may as well have rolled that. It's a hook 40. A big athletic guy on Basson. Throw that right up there.
Travel this time, caught on Delaney.
See, that was... Didn't see that. It looked like he fumbled it and it was hit out of his hands. And
what's the reason to abuse? The guy's pushing him. What is the reason to abuse the team? Huh? Tell me what's the reason.
He's going to get a tech. I think Dan's already got a warning. And just by the body language and the way in which he's chewing his gum, I think that it's certain that...
You're a gum chewing expert now.
Well, there was just an
aggression.
That's
how you make your assessment as to whether a guy's about to boil over.
There was a level of aggression. Dalton's into the other deep.
What about the spin move as well? Callum Dalton in the game.
Seen very little time. He was a DP. He's not a DP anymore, but he's used in a DP type role.
It has been him. Dickman throwing everybody out there. There's Basson.
We've got two of them on at the same time. In a rarely used, two rarely used players now. Seeing some early minutes.
Got some confidence as well with the hook and the tip.
Well, the Zones just trying to throw something else out there. We saw Melbourne United get off to that start against the Perth Wildcats in that second quarter towards half-time. And then they went to a box and won and got themselves back in the game, just trying to junk it up, do something else. So that zone has worked, but if you do manage to cause them to miss a shot, you got to box out. Hold them to one shot.
I don't think anything's working right now on the defensive end.
Peedling fouled this time.
It's just the aggression, the level of ball pressure, the rotations, the rebounding, where it's 17-7, everything going wrong for the New Zealand Breakers. And they're being exposed on the defensive end.
Well, since the Breakers started their season with 6 losses, they've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win in that last game over the top end. So,
and they tried their best to give it away.
They did. But if the history has told us anything, then this game.
But the thing about the Breakers, you see certain quarters and periods where you look like this team's elite. They play with that spark. They execute well. Dan Schmier's got some really nice sets that he gets his guys in good positions, and just their ability to maintain that level for extended periods of time has been their problem.
Well, that's why I was so high on them when they put the roster together. We know that at the time in the preseason we thought they would be able to get home for some home games, and then the 2 COVID disruptions, it's been out of their control. But when they've been healthy, Peyton Siva was injured for a while. When they've been healthy, they've been able to put some good performances together.
Another foul on Wetzel.
Minute 40 here, and I wouldn't expect the halftime locker room to be a friendly one from Dan Schmier.
Well, what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, I think, is genuine separation. We kind of knew where the haves, the teams that were going to be vying for it, and the others, we thought that they're going to need some breaks, but still hanging in there. The last couple of weeks, with the games we saw last night and the 2 that we've seen, well, the 1.5 that we've seen today, there's starting to be a separation with 5 teams vying for 4 spots.
Yep.
I said that, as you see, you can't fall asleep on.
No, anyone can beat anyone.
You're exactly right. Because
but over the course of the 28 games, that
cream's starting to rise to the top, Gazy.
That's a more succinct way to describe what I'm trying to say.
Just trying to work you guys out. Pete was telling me before that New Zealand are going win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, but at least they're consistently inconsistent.
Well, they are. I'll tell you what they're missing. That man on the left, Tom Abercrombie.
Yes.
Because that's been a big part of their issues this year on the defensive end, not having that identity. He leads the charge, and everybody else has no choice but to follow. So the injury to Abercrombie, just a massive out, as is having his veteran leadership in the tough times that they've had so many things go against them. Just having that level head out there of Tom Abercrombie.
And banked in nicely. Callum Dalton enjoying some court time.
He's looked good. A couple of minutes he's had. He hasn't been shy. 1 of 3.
Comes from good basketball stock. Father.
No, not good.
Great basketball
Elite.
stock. Father Mark, Uncle Brad.
Olympians.
Arnie. Oh, gee.
Back-to-back buckets from Son Randall.
Karen Dalton, probably the best of the lot of them.
Nice. Peedling. Inside the last minute of the half, dominated by Melbourne. Looking to get 60 up to the half. And almost the rebound. Peedling had it stolen from him. Little handoff and the foul, the push on Wetzel. As Besson threatened to go coast to coast.
Good push from Besson there. And I'll tell you what, as Matthew Dellavedova is trying to stop him, had a 50-50 chance on which way he was going to pick. Besson picked the right way to get around him.
Oh, look at the bench. That is a very nice bench that they've got on the sidelines right now. Gee. Just goes to show that the depth of this team.
Don't play until next Sunday as well after this. Next game, Cairns in Cairns. For Melbourne United. 58-33. It's been a masterclass in the top team on the Hungry Jacks NBL ladder.
Having a quick look at this, Dino, as a potential upgrade. Is there a play on the ball? Or?
He camouflaged it well, I think. His intent was to make sure he didn't score, pushed him in the back. I think he camouflaged it well enough that he might get away with this, but no doubting the intent.
Well, he was out of position and was from behind. That's what we're going to look at. Was he a swipe on the ball? Was it a forceful impact into his back? And to tell you what, he's probably lucky that it was a guy as strong as Yanni Wetzel as well.
What are you saying, Pete? Quick, before they tell.
I think it'll be a regular foul. I thought he hit it pretty well.
I think they're going to go with the upgrade.
Oh. Here we go.
You know what? I'm going to change my mind.
No. Thank you. I gotcha.
Upgrade, unsportsmanlike.
Well, they're saying no play of the ball on the arm, so getting the move from Basson, good drop off, and just a swipe down the arm, kind of trying to go with the hug. Not a whole lot in it, but I guess letter of the law.
That's it. Now, if I'm the grand poobah of basketball,
which you are,
which I'm not,
you're allowed to,
and you got to try. You're trying to play the rules and make it easier for the players and the officials. But to me, that's not an unsportsmanlike.
I'm with you. That's why I thought it potentially was.
According to the rules, yes, but
you've got influence over the basketball gods. The second one rimmed out.
Was it?
Yep.
Burgers?
Yep, no. But the second, at least he didn't land.
Right, yes.
Great to have seven-time NBL MVP and the Grand Poobah with us. Andrew Gaze, Delaney, Besson in some space. Oh, halfway down. That's the kind of afternoon they're having. Zach Triplett pulls it down and gives it to Matthew Dellavedova. The last shot of the half. Delly milks it down, gives it some thought. Tried to shake and bake. Danced it in, looked up, had a guard, the reverse. Delightful.
It's pretty end to a pretty half of basketball for Melbourne United, where they have torched on the offensive end and smothered on the defensive end and lead this by plenty.
Put up 60 points themselves in a half. Just sharing the ball. 18 assists on 21 made field goals in the first half.
Let's head down to courtside, Maddie Garrick.
I'm courtside with Caleb Agala here. Caleb, 14 points in the first half. I spoke to Dean Vickerman earlier about your starts in the last couple of games and getting the ball through your hands. Is that something you spoke about with him and your mentality of getting on the ring?
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to get downhill and find where I'm comfortable in the offense.
Now, keeping a team to 33 points in a half, too, is a great defensive effort. What is it that your team brings that you think is going to be key to keep them low scoring in this game?
Just the energy and knowing that our number one task is defensively and keeping them under the set amount we have every game.
Great job. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Maddie. Maddie Garrick, courtside for us this afternoon. John Cain Arena is a rockin'. The big stars are in the house, and they're watching a masterclass from the home team. They lead at the half, 60-33. Don't go away. The clinic will continue shortly. Golding hands it up, and the jam from Joe Lual Achul.
Lual Achul gets past Chi and gets upstairs. Lual Achul putting it on the floor and scoring in the lead.
On JLA with the jam, and they love JLA.
But he set the tone for Melbourne off the opening tip. JLA makes him pay.
He's got a 30-piece for the night.
You ever look back on that rookie year and see how far you've come? What's been the biggest improvements, do you think, for yourself? I think the biggest thing is just taking care of my body and just being smart with how I work. I feel like I'm a little bit of a gym rat and I tend to overwork at times. So just being smarter with when to get in, when to go hard, when to take it back a little bit and go a little lighter. So I feel like that balance has been really good for me this year.
Joe Lual Achul's had such a great opportunity presented to him this year. Illy threw it up. JLO was there to do the rest.
So with your role changing with the departure of Jock Landale, what conversation did you have in pre-season with Dino? He kind of sat me down. We spoke about my numbers from last year, told me kind of what he expected from me. But honestly, I'm just hooping and just playing basketball. I'm enjoying myself. I'm just not really thinking too much. And I'm just in a good vein of form right now.
Back out for Lual Achul. He's been shooting that three ball so well this season.
We've been a dominant force all year so far, and I remember during a game when you started last year and I asked you, would you prefer coming off the bench or starting? And you said, doesn't matter, no one can guard me. How's that mindset going this year? Man, I was a little bit cocky, huh? It's a quiet confidence. I think it breeds from my hard work. That's just something that I feel deep down. But yeah, it probably wasn't right for me to be super vocal about it.
Joe Lual Achul, a little bit of salt into the wound.
Beautiful setup from Shea Illy.
In terms of your own growth, personal development, do you have anyone like a mentor that you turn to for advice on any situation? I talk to Barlow, I talk to CG, talk to Shea. I feel like I'm surrounded with just like experience and just like a wealth of it. So depending on like the situation, I have like different people I talk to. Who's Joe Lual Achul off the floor? Joe Lual Achul off the court. I'm a homebody. I don't like to really be out. I'm not very social. I'm pretty quiet. I have a small circle of friends. Yeah, sometimes you won't even know I'm in the room. That's just kind of how I flow.
The man on your screen, he is very good. How real is the MVP conversation now?
Absolutely. Very, very real.
He's in there.
Now, you won the best sixth man of the year last season, and now you're starting to get into the MVP conversation. So how does that feel, and what do you feel like your game's really grown this year? I think it's my teammates, man. They're helping me, they're finding me in spots where I can succeed. I want a championship, and I think everybody in this building wants a championship, and I would take a championship any day of the week. But to be honest with you, I haven't really thought too much about MVP.
Hey, my boy.
Get that off camera.
Hey, my boy. That's my boy right here. He's become the next big thing. It must have been fun.
Oh, he's good. I mean, just to see his personality that's grown over the last few years. And he was just hooping at MSAC before getting signed with Melbourne United. Great college career at Baylor, but his personality's grown. He's grown as a player, and that MVP conversation is definitely real.
Oh, the numbers speak for themselves, don't they, this season? And it's not just him putting up the numbers, he's putting them up in a very, very good team that it's going to be hard to beat. So full credit to him. He looks like he works hard. Looks like he's
put on a lot of size.
He's put on a bit of size when you look back at some of the where he's come from. So he's clearly dedicated to his craft and doing really well.
Let's have a look at the Hungry Jacks highlights to half-time, and given the scoreline, there'll be no surprise. There's plenty of Melbourne United highlights among them. 60-33 is the scoreline with a half to come.
Yeah, it is. It's been all Melbourne United, both ends of the floor. You can see it from these highlights themselves, some of the ways in which the Melbourne United have been able to score and the ease at which they're scoring around the basket. Now, that's a tough shot for most people, but not for Chris Golding. And the way they're sharing the ball, getting to the extra man, finding the mismatches when they were switching early, everyone getting involved, everyone getting to play. And when you're knocking the ball down like they are, they've had 16 of their 37 from the three-point line. They've been able to hit 7 of them. Here's a strange one for you, but between these two stars, and we talked about the Joe Lual-Acuil and Yanni Wetzel, neither of those players at halftime have a rebound. That's a quirky type of stat, you'd think, but they've dominated on the boards as well, 18-9, and there you see the leading scorer as Agata got off early. Chris Golding just going about his business with the 9 points and not much happening, and Besson leading the way for New Zealand. And the shooting percentage from the three-point line, only 25% from the three-point line for New Zealand. They need to pick that up.
60-33, big half still to come. Stick around if you'd like to play like Joe Lual-Acuil. Well, you can. Bunnings Warehouse are giving you a chance to win your very own court at home. You can enter now at win.nbl.com.au/Bunnings.
I only worked on shooting, which is why that's really all I can do.
I had a basketball hoop and a little trampoline. I used to play back there for hours with my brother and get beat up a lot, but it was a lot of fun in the meantime.
My dad built one, so I had a little bit of like a half court going on, and that made my life the best, so I could never complain as a kid.
That was kind of like our sanctuary, our getaway from everything.
Critical mid-part of the season. This Hungry Jacks NBL22 year. And Melbourne United right now trying to establish top spot. There's a few snapping at their heels.
Again, they go back to the switch, and straight away they get exposed on it. Now, that might have just been the circumstances because it's first 10 seconds, first play of the second half, but any sort of switching, Melbourne United have been really good at penalising.
Good hands from Yanni Wetzel, and Normally you'd be thinking right now with Joe Luala-Chul's form, you've held him to 8 points, 0 rebounds at halftime. You think, okay, we're in a good spot, but everybody else has just chipped in. Garda's got 14. Delhi's got 8 assists, only taken 1 shot. Jack White, 7 points. Barlow, 5 points. Peatling, 7. Everybody's just getting involved.
Jack White, 4 to beat.
Good pass by Golding, but I reckon that's one where you're up and you're trying to be unselfish and he makes the extra pass to White. Normally, Chris there, the little reverse layup may have been an easier option than the pass, but wanting to share it around.
60 points in a half is the highest team top score by anybody in the first half this year in NBL22. Second highest. Would you have a guess, Gazy, on who put up the second highest first half score?
New Zealand?
There you go. He's good.
He's good. That's
59 against Adelaide all the time back.
And they lost that game. They lost that game.
That's why he's the greatest of all time. He knew you asked the question for a reason.
He saw my notes.
Oh, is that what it was?
No, it was the way in which you asked it. I thought it had to be something that would be peculiar.
Peyton Siva with the inbound. Can they get a little bit of momentum at least? The Breakers. No. Joe Luala-Chul read his mind. Dellavedova, Chris Golding. Little step back. Rattle its way out.
Yeah, come up with a couple of stops now. Now they need just something on the offensive end to reward themselves.
Jack White.
Jack White does that so well. Just the strength combined with the athleticism of Jack White. That's a hand on the ball. But it's no surprise that Melbourne United look a different unit when he's healthy and out there.
Yeah, would have loved to have been part of the Boomers, but doesn't get that chance because he's so important for Melbourne United.
He'll be there eventually.
Yeah.
Terrific leader.
There he is. Having chinwag with Finn Delaney in game 150.
50 games for Finn Delaney. I feel like he's been in the league a lot longer than that.
7th season at the Breakers. Tapped away by Joe Luala-Chul, who read their minds again. Agata. Agata gets it back. Golding. Steps it back out, takes his time. All right, there's a let it fly here. Having some fun. Shake and bake. Jack White. Oh, so the crime and the punishment. He stopped it down one end and then he lands the big bomb down the other.
It is, and well created there by Chris Golding with the little 1-4 flat. They get the switch, and if they don't beat him on the switch down low, that time it was out the top with Golding, who just flops.
Ooh. From the corner, nothing happening for the Breakers. Agata. See if he gets a flop warning now that Andrew Gaze has mentioned it. The great man says that it was that, then it's likely it'll be that. Joe Luala-Chul sees it knocked away. Peyton, yep, there it is. So a flop warning on Chris Golding. Delaney didn't let it fly to the corner. They need something to go. Finally.
Knockdown from
So
Randall.
Jason Randall to give them some impact.
And again, they come up with the stop, and Peyton Siva got his hand on the ball, which you have to do. If you're going to commit, he goes again, Peyton Siva, and gets another piece of it. A little double teams working. First couple of minutes here.
Besson. Dellavedova hits him out with hip.
Here's the Randall 3, just a breakdown there, playing 3-on-2 on the weak side. And there we see the flop warning. Besson's an interesting one when you think of the next level. A lot of talk about whether he is going to be in consideration to be drafted and find his way to the NBA. He's got good bounce, good athlete. Clearly he can shoot it really well, but I think he still needs to be able to shoot it better when you think of the next level above. And just not sure of what type of...
Oh, he misses both.
Well, we already have burgers. There was burgers already that we forgot to give away. So there is the code. United. Yanni Wetzel will claim it.
United fans in Victoria can head to the drive-thru on the way home. Agata. Oh, stepped it back. Couldn't land it. Randall with the rebound. A little bit of belief back at the moment. Winning the quarter by 7 points. Oh, rejected! White, not in my house. Jack White.
What a block from... We talk about his strength combined with athleticism to go straight up and time that. Yanni Wetzel, he's...
And also, look at the circumstance. You're 27 up. You've got Wetzel coming in here, ready to tuck one in, but you're prepared to sacrifice your body, throw yourself up at it, and that is a genuine meeting at the summit where it's won by that man on your screen, Jack White.
Yeah, okay.
Timeout's been called. So Dan Shamir, third NBL season, championship winning coach in Israel. He's got his work cut out here.
Next one down there, ATO. You go 3 motions. Okay, Raz, you're going of the 3 motions. Okay? Then you catch. You don't even catch. You just go over the screen. Okay? And you go get Peyton. And both of you off the Iverson go and get Hugo. Okay, off the stagger. Coming here. Okay, off that stagger. Spin to the corner and go pinch. Play with him. Okay, so you throw it over here, fake, back, etc. For you, it's a big roll, then a pin down. Iverson, pick and roll, double away, stagger away, and then pop and pin. See if he's attacking. Okay?
Well, it started well. 3 minutes here. Overall, New Zealand Breakers, and yeah, there was a block from Jack White, but good offense, little dump down pass. Yanni Wetzel trying to go up to flush it. Just better defense in the end. They had a little bit of success when they throw it into Joe Lyle-Chul, just going a double team, and Payne Seaver's got his hand on a couple of those. They can get out and run.
Paul's Randall coming off. When you're struggling for points, he's got 10 of them.
Well, he has, and he just knocked down a 3-ball, and he brings Rasmus Bach. He's only played for 3 minutes.
Jack White. Agata. Dellavedova. 4 left, shot clock. Jack White.
Number 18. Hold.
So, foul called on Rasmus Bach.
Dellavedova has these games when he gets going on the offensive end, but just cleans up the defensive glass. Got 7 rebounds. That one obviously on the offensive end. He's got 15 rebound games.
Agata stepped it in, took it out. Golding with 4 left, that's his forte. Chris Golding, Goldfingers from way outside the arc.
It's just a catch and shoot. Yeah, you've got to be in those help positions, but when Chris Golding gets it, and although he was on the bunning side, still got to be up to there, slapping at that ball, making him put to the floor. If he can just catch, line it up and shoot it. That's regulation for Chris Golding.
Blows the lead back out to 30. Rasmus Bach. Peyton Seaver gets a bit of space, the reverse. They needed that, but that's a little bit of an understatement given the scoreline.
Good finish from Peyton Seaver, just avoiding Joe Lyle-Chul, using the rim as a bit of protection. Up to 6 points now.
Dellavedova gets it back, single figure shot clock. Peyton Seaver wearing him, right with him. Tough fadeaway 2 from the top. Nothing too tough for Delhi.
To be honest, that's really well defended from Peyton Seaver. And you see the way they're trying to guard it now. Yanni Wetzel staying home, staying attached to Lyle-Chul. Think about what you're going to live with defending Melbourne United. A contested runner from Delhi. But Seaver still contesting from the side. You're probably going to live with that. But in the end, they're good enough to knock it down.
Yanni Wetzel. Hugo Besson takes on the 3 of them, handed it off, and they lost it. Nothing going right for the Breakers.
That was a highly unconvincible. Please review that. Just sort of tenderly put the finger up and said, well, I'm just really upset I messed this up.
That's the default when you know you've made a blue,
I'll at least tentatively do it so the coach doesn't think it was my fault.
Dellavedova, the body language expert Andrew Gay's in the house today. He's giving you a chewing gum chewing report, and now he's giving you the go to the replay enthusiasm report.
The little things, Dwayne.
I know. I like
you
it.
just identify them.
Yep, that's what makes you such a great man. Jack White's going to have a sit down. He deserves it. Golding still weaving his way through the traffic. Oh, bang! Ran into the brick wall in Finn Delaney.
Matthew Dellavedova putting on a clinic as far as distributing the ball. 8 assists now. And he's only had the 2 field goal attempts. 1 of 2, 2 points, 8 assists. And elite defense.
Golding from the logo again. Lets it fly. Wetzel. Golding ahead of him. Handed it off. Besson not on the same page. Bark. Delaney. Seaver. Peyton Seaver takes on Golding. Spin. And Shaley knew where he was going.
Well, he created the space, got open on the spin. It's just got to be a little floater from Peyton Seaver. Shaley stayed home. He did the hard work, put the ball on the floor, span away from Chris Golding. He's got to float that up.
Up fake from Delaney, then he lost it. And Golding, the little flick over to Delhi. He's looking for another assist, maybe number 9. Golding, back on the back to Joe Luala-Chul.
Look, Chris Golding here, just a little out of control behind the back. Ooh, just come off Chris Golding's leg. Spoke earlier about Finn Delaney playing his
150th in his 7th season at the Breakers now.
Having a tough time of it this season, though, compared to what he's been. Now, he's still serviceable. He's still doing an elite player, a really good player, but last year averaged 16, and now only this season down to 11. Last season, 46%. This season, 37%. 3-point field goal numbers are down. So offensively, Finn Delaney just hasn't been able to capture the form, which was outstanding last season for Finn Delaney.
All NBL second team last season.
That was a huge year last year for Finn Delaney, and even the year before. We were talking about him in the most improved player conversation for back-to-back years, which just shows he went from strength to strength.
Well, his last 5 years, he's gone 3 points, 5 points, 8 points, 12 points, and last season 16 points. So every year he was improving, and this year the numbers have just tapered ever so slightly.
His best ever 33-point game, which was actually here for Finn Delaney. Shayeli. Peatling. Seaver. Turned. And it's a New Zealand ball. I get a stop.
That was probably the best defensive possession of the game for the Breakers. They're in the 2-3 zone, and as soon as there's a ball screen, they're going to man up. And that's what they did. Finn Delaney called that. Peyton Seaver got rolled into again on the bigger Mason Peatling, but guarded it very well, and they get the stop.
Peyton Seaver, ex-NBA, 24 games for the Pistons, trying to set it up for them. Gets it back. Didn't get Caleb Agata to bite. Had to put it up. Big arc on it. Peatling the rebound. Gets it back from Illy. Agata stalking it again. Wow.
Had some sort of night. Caleb Agata, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Doing a bit of everything.
Hugo Besson, straight back at you from Hugo.
That's a beautiful looking stroke. When his feet set, he rises up. He's a good athlete. And the follow through is nice.
Hook Porty used his bulk, banked it.
They just run into a juggernaut tonight, the New Zealand Breakers. A little off their game on the offensive end, and even when you see some of the possessions where you think their defense is okay, Melbourne United still find a way to score.
Besson rejected by Hook Porty, who's happy to put his hand up for the foul. So best team in the comp.
Right now, It's tight, but I think so. Melbourne United still got a long way to go.
He's hurt a knee.
He's cramping.
Could be a little cramp. Okay. But there's the confidence of the son going in against Hook Porty. There's the Delaney just helping him out with a bit of a stretch. Needs a pickle juice. Yeah, someone's going to run some pickle juice out there.
That's a bit of the artwork I was talking about. Tattoo of the wolf on his thigh. He's got a J for his sister Jade. He's got a power button to hit when he wants to power on, and he's number 25 as well.
And I said before that Gazy had the wolf, and I was wrong. Gazy's got on his back. He's got a big goat. Just tattooed along his back, Gazy, and rarely pulls it out.
But that's got a, I don't know a lot of it, have never been tattoos, but that around the knee, that's sitting in the chair, and the artwork around the knee's got to be, it goes across the bone. Got a little bit of discomfort.
The toughest man of NBL history yourself, and you...
needles.
Hugo drops a couple. 73-44. 3 minutes left in the third. Been a masterclass from United. Newley steps it in, hands it out. Peatling. And that's on Hook Porty.
Sorry, yeah, easy one, Hook Porty there, but...
Sam Short, nominated replacement player for the New Zealand Breakers for the end of the 2022 season. Melbourne United development player for the last few years.
Quite a while, in fact. Probably 4 years would it have been, Bulls? You've been there back when you were playing?
4, I think. Yeah.
At least 4.
So, no doubt we'll see him running around.
He's playing with Ballarat in the NBL1 last season.
He grew up. Ballarat.
He's a local.
Still only young. Getting an opportunity here. Back on a familiar floor. But Will McDowell-White passing the fitness test means just keep the jacket on for the time being. Probably thinking he'd love to be out there now and maybe knock down 29 against the old team.
You sound like you were convinced there, Gazy. Illy. Pickpocket. Newley. Turning back the clock. Brad Newley.
Back-to-back weeks.
Back dunks in games, almost. Brad Newley turned 37 the other day.
Yanni bumped on the attempt.
I think it was you guys who said his last one. He's got a bit nervous when he took off Newells.
Well, it just looked a little hesitant.
He's definitely in some of the best shape he's been in for some time, but I'm worried there could be a flat tire on one of those.
Yanni Wetzel at the line. 65% for Yanni, so doesn't always get both in. Didn't get any in this time. And it's been a triple burger night.
Well, he's 1 of 5, Yanni Wetzel, and Bisson's 3 of 6.
Well, 6 of 13 from the free throw. Just one of those dirty nights on both ends of the floor.
Peatling. Drop as well from outside the arc.
Running to pause. Everybody's getting in on the party. And again, we speak about what are you going to live with? Some things you want to take away. Yeah, you want to take away Joe Lawala-Chul. That possession I highlighted of Siva on Delhi. You're going to live with that. And you probably live with that from Mason Peatling.
Joe Lawala-Chul said no. Besson. Let it fly from the scramble. Newley, hands and knees. And they get it back, and it's a 4-on-3. Newley under the bucket. Could have gone for the second dunk in a row. Illy from the top. Bang!
Wow. How impressive is that if you're a Melbourne United fan? You're up by more than I can add up, and you're out there and they're still diving on loose balls and just scrambling as if it's a one-point ball game. There's JLA sending that back out, and Shea Illy, feet set, comes back and caps off a spectacular play of great hustle, great determination.
It has been phenomenal from Melbourne United. A statement from them so far. They've got 81 points on the board. We've got a quarter and 1:28 left to play, and they're coming off their 2 highest scoring games of the season, 93 against Perth and 94 against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They're going to blow past the ton in this.
Yeah, it's been awesome, their offense, but against any team in the competition to get this type of lead, regardless of the circumstances, is Just shows the power and the confidence that they're playing with now. Shooting is off the charts. 57% from the field, 48% from the three-point line. And through all that, they've only had 7 turnovers. Gee, this is sending a message, isn't it? After an impressive win against one of the other challengers in the Phoenix.
81 points is the equal score of like three-quarter time this season. A minute and a half to go and a whole nother quarter.
Have a great record overall, Melbourne United. Great record against New Zealand. Won 11 of their past 12 against New Zealand, including the last 6 in a row. On track to make it 7 in a row. Won both against New Zealand this season. 83-60 and 89-78. 81 on the board to 44. With under 90 seconds left in the third. McDowell White backs it out. Hugo Besson, single figure shot clock. Dean Vickerman still screaming. 3 seconds left. 2 seconds. Yanni Wetzel decided to give it up. And poked away. It's still a United ball as we head down to Matty Garrett.
You can see a complete contrast in the attitudes and just the timeouts of New Zealand and United. I was standing behind the United bench and they are just out here having a great time tonight. If you look at the scoreboard here, basically all of their players are having an influence because they're up by so much. So it's great to see them up and about, and we'll see what happens at the end of this quarter.
Well, what's going to be tough for the New Zealand Breakers is normally Melbourne United, they're playing another game in a couple of days and they might get through some bodies here or there. They don't play for 7 days. That's why Dean Vickerman is up right now saying, let's just keep going and keep rolling on this. Build the percentage right up. And Matty's right. Everyone has just got involved.
Having said that, if I'm Zach Triplett, and
I'd be getting ready.
I'd be making sure I'm suitably stretched, and I think they're going to see a bit of time in this last quarter because you're up this by this many. You don't want to put any risk at some of these guys. Yeah, they've got a bit of a break. It's a long season, and any time you can give a chance to give them a bit of a rest, I think that they would welcome it.
Who are you going to bubble wrap first then?
Well, your starters are usually the ones that you're going to just put on ice, but you've also got to think of their own mindset. Like Joe Luala-Chul, he's been on a tear recently, averaging close to 24, 25 points, and he's only got the 8. So maybe you might want to put them on there, let them pad their numbers a little bit. Just pad the numbers.
Well, it's that fine line, isn't it? Because you don't want to do anything silly and anybody get hurt.
Just give them a tap and say,
you're right.
listen.
If you're David Aquera, even Callum Dalton, Zach Triplett, you're thinking, might have an extended period here. I'm talking like a little career high type afternoon. She'll get some opportunity. The New Zealand Breakers, we talked about all night, all afternoon about their inconsistencies, win-loss, win-loss. Trying to keep building towards something where they can try and find that consistency.
The next game against the Hawks in Hobart.
I'm not sure they're doing the same with Randall either. Maybe they just put the cue in the rack and said, enough's enough.
Well, he's 4 of 6, got 10 points. Son Randall.
Wetzel with the feed. Besson with the save. For 3. Air. All air. Brad Newley. Couldn't quite find the handle.
Just 1 or 2 parts. It's hard when you're down by this many, but now's the time to maybe get some continuity. You're not going to win this game, so just plan ahead and get it through some hands, run some sets, a little bit more man movement rather than just coming down and one-pass jacket.
So Melbourne United with the last say of the third quarter. To add to the 83 they've got now. Shaley gives us some thought. Calabagata, he was hot early, hands it over. Joe Luala-Chul lost it, got it back, got fouled. And we'll go to the line with 1.2 seconds left.
We highlighted all the off-court trouble for the Breakers. We know they can't get home, which is always tough to have to try and play out the whole season.
There's the Hornet.
Well,
Jason Horne-Francis, Taron Thomas. Going to hear a bit about the Hornet, I reckon, in the next decade.
Looks all right, doesn't he?
So he plays for North Melbourne. He's the #1 draft pick. He's come over with some big raps from South Australia, and he's got it going on.
David, did you see that, mate? I watched a bit of a practice game the other day.
It looks good.
Specky.
Would have loved to have seen you with the boots on at some stage, Andrew Gaze. 84-44, three-quarter time, the highest scoring three-quarter time score of the season. Melbourne United lead by 40. A lot of questions about who is the best team in the Hungry Jacks NBL22 season. Melbourne United are making a good case at the moment that they might be it. Wildcats are about to head home, though, for a good run of home games. I'll finish the season with 9 home games in a row. A few in the equation, but right now Melbourne United top of the pops on the Hungry Jacks NBL22 ladder and about to win this one.
I was thinking last night watching that incredible game from the Wildcats versus the Kings. They had a 5-game grand final series in that, and then Melbourne United come out and play like this. So Joe Lual-Chul just holding the young fellow accountable on something.
Well, you think 40 points up, you're thinking, well, we've got to pull our guys, but what I think is also going to come, you think vying for that top spot, it's possibly going to come down to percentages. So this is the sort of game where you want to continue to grind away just to bank those percentage points, because it's not going to be smooth sailing for anyone from here on out.
Not with Wildcats getting that run of home games at the end of the season. The Red Army's going to be loving having them back.
Well, and more importantly, the Kings getting their squad together and getting them healthy and adding Ian Clark. And
so the Kings are 5th on the ladder now. They're 5th. You can't.
They're not finishing there.
You can't win it from 5th.
Well, they're not finishing there, that's for sure.
So who misses out?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Think time there. Rasmus Bark hands it over to Peyton Seaver.
I'm not sure they're 100% guaranteed to be
nice
there,
from Peyton.
I think that they've shown that they've got the capacity to compete with the very best teams. There's no doubt about that. Maybe the little head start that they gave the other teams trying to play catch-up, but they're not that far behind the Illawarra Hawks. That's the one, I guess, is the most likely right now, but
for the record, the Illawarra Hawks and Tasmania play after this final game of the round.
Daryl Coletto, have a look at him. Champion with the New Zealand Breakers and the Melbourne Tigers.
Giving you a little shout out as well.
Thank you.
Your shout outs coming left, right and centre. A little birdie just told me that one Lindsay Gaze was pretty good with the footy boots on as well.
Not too bad.
Represent Australia?
Yeah, well, sort of. In the 1956 Olympics exhibition series.
Nice. So we nearly lost you. The sweep back. Long range. Nothing going right. Corin Galloway getting some court time. Quickly down the floor. And retrieved into the crowd. How's this going to go down? So David Aquera getting some court time at the moment. And it's a 5-on-4. Aquera's up. Let's have the crowd a fine. Seaver trying to retrieve it as Agata takes it down the floor.
Good timing from Galloway. Sorry. It's my little missed the links.
Danny Minogue behind there.
Oh, that's no right in front there. If you're going to... Oh, someone lost their hat.
It's Danny.
Aquera out of all people sitting courtside. It's not who you want to almost take out.
No. Hopefully okay. Great to see so many celebs watching this. Melbourne United have put on a masterclass. It's just a delight to watch a team in this kind of form. Tough for New Zealand fans, obviously. They've been around the world, haven't been home. They've been Tasmania, Melbourne, haven't really had a home everywhere but Teddy Bear's Gap playing and practicing New Zealand breakers.
You know what I like about this as well, Dwayno, is if you're watching this game and this was the sort of margin you see in an NBA game, half the crowd, ta-da, see you later, we've seen enough. Love the fact they're sticking around, checking out their home team and just continuing to support.
There's a hit from Barker, and a lot of it would be with the Australian Open when that was on. Didn't get to see Melbourne United in person, but even just the youngsters are getting an opportunity. Everyone loves to see development players get on, as you haven't perhaps had a few minutes.
Aquera pulls it back out. Delhi spins inside. Decided to give it away. I just thought he was going for the shot. Almost 2 threes in a row. Newley pulls it down. Back down the floor. And like what he had on offer in opposition to Jason Randall. But you can't get on a bandwagon late. You've got to get on now if you're on Melbourne United's bandwagon.
Well, I think they've got a few that's already jumped on with their form over the last few years and just continue to support it. As you see, Brad Newley trying to get to the rim. Draws the foul, goes to the line to shoot a couple. But I know the game's done, but that last shot by Buck, coming down and just spraying it, it's almost like, well, we're just all about ourselves right now. Get some value out of this last 8 minutes or so and think about the next game and what you've got to do. Trying to execute, get through your sets, get through some plays, share the ball around.
19 of 49 from the field, but it's down the other end. They haven't been able to stop anything. Galloway tees one up.
Seaver retrieves it. Gets it back. Newley cuts him down. Galloway inside this time. Banks it.
I think Galloway's got a big future ahead of him, both of the Galloways. So it's kind of like that fine line of, well, let's try and get some confidence into that. Just playing some good basketball. That's going to be a lot too. And if that had gone down, he would be flat.
And a jam! That was nice.
He's straight vertical for his size.
Bouncing.
He's incredible, and that's why NBA scouts love him. You thought perhaps youngsters might get a crack. Zach Triplets coming to the bench with Shea Ely and Jack White.
Timmins did a 4-7-20, got it in.
The next up for Melbourne United, you mentioned that week, it's against the Cairns Taipans, and based on what we saw from Cairns, they're going to need a strong reversal of form to be competitive against this juggernaut.
Delhi fills it up this time.
Well, that's only his 4th field goal attempt for the game. Delhi got 9 assists, just 1 turnover. Hasn't had to do a whole lot besides get others involved. It's been a real team effort. I say that because whoever wants to get something going has had every opportunity. Payne Seaver knocks down his 2nd 3-ball.
Right now the starters can see that The subs are coming in, so might be in a little bit of a hurry to whack up a few shots because you're probably not going to see too much more time as Agata does that.
Randall saw Delhi and saw Hook Porty.
Now this is straight vert from Hook Porty. You're anywhere near that on the weak side and he gets an open drop step and get out of the way.
You mentioned you didn't like some of the shots that the breakers were taking, Gazy. Can I get you to add, you and Peter, Leonard Copeland, I noticed that is putting together a list of the things that you've got to learn from the age of 3, I heard.
Yes.
He's compiling that list. So continue to compile it if you like that.
Well, that was on the back of the previous game when, against the full court press, they were inbounding the ball in the corner where they had the sideline and the baseline to be a very good defender. You learn that early not to do it.
Jack White gets on the end of the Zach triplet assist. It's going to be a good list by the end of the year. The things you've got to learn by the age of 3.
The other one that would go in that's pretty fundamental is when you're taking the ball out of bounds, make sure that you don't do it from underneath the basket.
So we started that on the game of Hawks versus Cairns. That's exactly what happened. They got the stop and threw it straight back underneath the opposition basket.
Right.
I think he said that's what you learned at age 5 then. Now he's lowered it.
Yeah, well, actually today I think you said as soon as you're born, you need to know that when it comes to basketball.
He's got an academy, hasn't he?
He does.
They start early there then,
obviously. They do very start early. And
triplet. Tried the triplet, couldn't. And it's a breaker's ball.
That's his bread and butter. That's what he does. That's his signature. He's a young Chris Goulding right now. He's got the bounce. Remember back in the day, Halls, when Chris first came into the league and was a young fella, he had that bounce. Well, Triplet's got a bit of that as well, and he can shoot it.
Galloway let it fly. White pulled it down. Illy. Triplet. Hook Porty. Doubled. Hands it up. White. This is fun.
Well, again, it's happened all afternoon, the mismatch, because they're switching. Big fella on the guard on Randall. They have to come across to double team. Jack White makes a great play, doesn't camp on the three-point line. But dives and gets an easy 2.
And it's hard when you're down, the game's over, but no rotations whatsoever. Like, White just comes down and guy in the corner that should be protecting the basket, nowhere to be seen.
Billy hands it up to Triplet, who gave it to Hook Porty kindly.
Well, there might be a timeout here from Dan Shamir. Just saying, we've got to settle this down. I know it's been, I just want to throw it away. There you go. Good cut from Jack White. Easy 2, and it's not going to be a too pleasant timeout.
See, that's what I'm saying. See the guy on the weak side, either the high guy or the low guy, weren't bumping the weak side guy.
98-58. Hope you're enjoying this show. Still a bit to come. Stick around.
Well, no doubt this is a very, very unpleasant timeout. Dan Shamir, as Gatesy said, the game's been over for a long time, but just try and finish it off the right way. What can you get out of this game? You're not going to get the win. So is there anything positive you can take out of it? Just the way you play, trying to build up towards their next game for the Breakers. And, man, it has been tough for them the whole journey. And you can imagine, in the game against Illawarra, the double overtime game, they played so well but come up short. Didn't even get a shot off because the son fell over. Imagine that game, you go back to your hotel room, you've got to try and recover, and then you came to this floor and kind of got handed to you by Melbourne United. So they've been so up and down.
This is a situation where you really got to, your leaders get tested, how they respond.
Caleb Agata looks like he's getting a rest, might be done for the night. Good afternoon at the office for Caleb Agata. 17 points, 9 rebounds. Seaver from way outside.
We're starting to hit a couple now in this fourth quarter. Again, better offense there. You run through a set. Up to 17 points. And then the NBA All-Star weekend today, Jay-Z. So 3-point contest in the NBL. Used to have it. So who would you be backing this season?
If we had one in the NBL,
Yep.
I think the two of the guys we've seen here today, Basson and Chris Golding.
Basson?
I think Basson with that action. It's a nice action. It's compact, and I think those, sometimes if you use a lot of legs in those 3-point shootout contests, that can wear you down. He uses his legs, but not to the same level as some of the others. Like, I actually think that Chris uses his legs a lot. You know, he needs that, but those that can get a lot of shots off in that quick succession.
Well, he loves
his time.
He's definitely up there, Chris Golding. Randall's fouled out. Does love to shoot contested and off balance. I think he's one of the best off balance shooters I've seen. But I think Steindl would have a good crack on just the catch and shoot standing there. Vasiljevic will be up there.
Here is Besson, ran into a roadblock in Shaeli.
So it is, you see in the NBA, guys are knockdown shooters, but a lot of them either love to shoot off the dribble or turning into it, right? Picking it up off the rack is a lot different. You'd be all right.
I think if we, you know what, if I was out here, if I had those guys that you're mentioning, and again, it might be because of my bias, but you put Shane Hill right now, who, let's face it, he's not in particularly game shape.
Be nice.
But no, I'm being nice, but I'm just saying, even with that, Shane Hill going out there in a 3-point shoot, I'm not so sure I'd back against him.
Wow.
Against.
Tell you what I'd pay to see is a team event of Gaze and Hill, Golding and Cotton in a 3-point shootout.
No problem. I think I'd walk into that contest feeling very confident.
Let's get that organised.
Can we just maybe reduce it to maybe 20 shots? The 25 fatigue kicks in and the hammies and the calves aren't quite as good.
Well, then the other one is dunk contest. It wasn't very good one from all things I've heard.
You know how I go back in time and we can tip hammer. I wouldn't be tipping Copes to be able to get up like he used to.
Jack White having to sit down. So we'll see if Hungry Jacks can put that on for us so we can
they're sneaky hops.
Show within the show.
Jalen Adams, that is sneaky hops.
The little guys that can get up, they get a bit more sympathy than some of the bigger guys. So he'd be what we saw last week. He'd be right there.
Quera hands it over. Callum Dalton with the hook.
He hasn't been shy, Callum Dalton. He's whacked up 5 shots in his 4 minutes of action. Good on the young fella.
Got to make it a little bit of hay while the sun's shining. They haven't had much court time this season. And Galloway can't get it to go. Timmins tried to jam it and floated it in the end.
I actually like what I've seen from Timmins this season. He's got,
I agree.
I think he's really solid. And I think it's great that he gets to go up against Yanni Wetzel. He's got a lot of size for a young guy, but big future ahead of him. Throws his weight around in the right way.
What's happened to Will McDowell-White? The last few games tonight, he's only played the 10 minutes as Shea Ely.
Wondered why he didn't mention his name. That's why he put the 3 up.
Well, I think with Will McDowell-White, he's at his best when he's running the offense. You put the ball in his hand. He's not really, you don't get a lot out of him when he plays off the ball and just as a catch and shoot guy.
Yep.
So with Peyton Seaver coming back, who was injured, is Bark.
Bark with a little bit of bite.
They're sneaky. They're sneaky hops.
Yeah, he got some bounce.
But with Peyton Seaver coming back, he's going to be their main guy. He was signed as that, but just had that hamstring injury. And so,
well, in that,
let's come back. Will McDowell-White. You've got Randall as well, who's playing off the ball. Jeremiah Martin liked to have the ball in his hand a lot.
And he's only played the 10 minutes, Will McDowell-White, and you're looking for an explanation. He's 0-3 and has no other stat. But in that time that he was on the floor, in 10 minutes, his plus-minus was -19.
Well, it was a game-time fitness decision, so they weren't sure if he was going to play. But, well, -19 in 10 minutes is never going to be good. But you can kind of think about how that's all gone for everyone.
Have a look at Hugo Besson.
He's
got the 17 points, but he's -36.
Now, you can't always. Now, sometimes you really look into it, but if you're going to highlight one, remember the double overtime game, Brisbane versus Perth, over in the West. Vic Law had an outstanding game. He was minus 29 in that game.
Yeah.
So you can't always look.
No, it's
he
not.
had a 30 ball or something. It's always got to take it how the game's going. And more often than not, I know Melbourne United, Dean Vickerman was one that was always very high on it. And a lot of it can be you just don't suit the squad that's out there with you, so you try to juggle
Well,
who
you
works
can
well.
come on and play your role, play some D, do everything else, but everyone else buggers up around you. And, you know, hang on a second, my minus is minus 10, but it's you blokes that cook me.
I have to play your career plus minuses. The Bucks, little spark off the bench.
The Great Dane filling it up. 1 minute left, little poke away from Rasmus Bach.
I mentioned Basson's rise in NBA teams. Looking at him, they're talking about those scouts who have been speaking to the NBA teams. I know Usman Jang's out right now with that injury, but NBA teams are still very high on his potential. The young fella, so raw, but just to be able to grow into his game, grow into his body, really. And he's just shown this little flashes of potential, and a couple of teams basically saying in the NBA, from what I heard, that they're still having a massive crack at him. Just shows how good the league is, the NBL, because we've seen those little flashes of Usman Jeng, but when you look over years past, the players that have made the leap, besides the LaMelo Balls, the others, have shown little flashes, enough in the NBL for NBA teams to say, all right, we're going to give you a big chance.
First time United have passed 100 this season.
Wow.
Dwayno, and this...
Last 3 games have been their highest scoring, 93, 94, and now this.
The biggest win for the Melbourne United this year was 42 against the Sydney Kings. If you remember that game, oh my, how things have changed.
David Aquera adds to the party. Seaver throws it back out, and Galloway. 73-108.
108 is the highest. Most this season is 102 by Cairns versus Bullets. 108, that's a lot of points.
Crowd up and about at John Cain Arena. Not one person has reached for the car keys. They have stayed for every second of this. Loved every second of it. Triplett almost stole it back to give them one more crack to add to the number, 108. They'll check it.
Very strong start.
Big stars in the house for this one. Celebrities left, right and centre. And Melbourne United have put on a show. Seconds tick down. A masterclass from the home team, 108.73, and a statement to the rest of the competition.
Oh, my word, it was a tough night at the office for the New Zealand Breakers, and Melbourne United came out right from the very first possession and showed what it was going to be like on the defensive end. It became so hard for the New Zealand Breakers to get things going, and once they did, the floodgates opened from the footlocker player of the game, Caleb Agata, 17 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, but they could have possibly given that to a few of the Melbourne United team, but collectively they were impressive. Their intensity they were applying on the defensive end and the efficiency of the offensive end. Only shot it at 47% from three-point line. That is outstanding.
31 assists as a team. That ball was flying around. A lot of that can be the New Zealand Breakers defense just breaking down. They tried numerous things, and there's a young fella selected in the Boomers.
Hope you enjoyed that, Melbourne United fans. John Cain Arena was a rocket. 108-73, the final scoreline. Sunday fun day for Melbourne United fans.